everybody, welcome back. Those who are following me and those who are new, thank you for joining me. So, what I have been doing with these recordings is basically sharing things I've gone through or things that I'm currently facing that can be difficult in life. And so, as always, guys, if it triggers you, step away, turn it off. You don't have to listen to it, okay? Because some of these things can be very triggering that I talk about, but I do appreciate those who stick around and hear me out. And as always, I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm not a doctor or any of that. I'm just talking about my life experience and what I did to get through it and how it affected me as a human being. So, with that said, this topic I want to talk about today it's a pretty deep one. So, bear with me. And as I said before, if it gets too intense, please, you don't have to watch, okay? Because that's what I do with these videos. I get intense. I give details because, sometimes that helps people relate and understand that they're not alone. So, the topic I want to talk about today would be suicide. And this is a big one because a lot of us have had someone in our life or knows someone who had someone in their life unalive themselves or, have ideations or thoughts of or have attempted. So, this is my topic, and like I said, if it gets too intense, please feel free to turn the video off because this is a very intense topic and I will be going into very graphic details. And yes, I have warned you guys multiple times because this is very graphic. So, for those of you that can't watch this, I understand. It's a very hard topic to listen to alone, let alone hear details about things like that. So I think we'll start off with my own experiences with that. So we'll start towards the beginning and work our way up, I think. So when I was a teenager, I was going through all the emotional and hormonal changes, and it became very difficult for me to manage these thoughts and understand them. And so I myself have tried in the past, not currently, in the past, to unalive myself. And, I tried different things, different methods, and obviously none of them worked, thankfully. I'm still here, and I'm very happy that I am alive and here. So, I had different things. I'm not going to go into the methods that I tried because there's multiple, and those who know the topic know very well many of those choices that you could make. With that being said, thankfully I had one or two good friends that I could call that could help me through these big emotions by talking with me and let me cry and let me get it out, because at that time I didn't know how to voice these emotions that I was feeling and going through to my family or any of my other friends. So it became very difficult to feel understood and to feel loved and to feel accepted for who I was in my own skin, okay? So those are some of the emotions I faced when I had those thoughts and when I tried to do things like that to myself. And obviously, as I grow and move forward with life, I can understand my emotions a little more and work through them and take time to just breathe and figure out where they're coming from, if it's a logical thing or if it's just something that needs to be felt. So I do that now with my emotions. But back then, I was just experiencing them and they were very difficult and deep, and there was a lot. So that's why I kind of turned that way when I was in my teens. Now, as I grew older into adulthood, there were a few moments in my life where I felt extremely overwhelmed. I didn't feel loved, and I just didn't want to be on the planet anymore. So, therefore, I tried a few more times as a young adult, and I failed those attempts as well, thankfully. And now I am here, and that is my personal journey with that. Now, I have had other experiences with this, and some of them include people trying or attempting to unalive themselves in front of me during like an argument or during a low point in their lives where things just feel unmanageable and they don't see another way out. And I've been able to at least help them a little bit with that and go through that process with them. And thankfully, I can say most of those people are alive. There has been one person who unalived themselves successfully. I shouldn't say it that way, but they were able to accomplish that. And so with that, it's very difficult for the family and the friends and the people around that person to understand why they did that. And in all honesty, we truly will never understand because we weren't in that person's head at the time that happened. What we can do is mourn the loss of that person. Remember our love for that person. Remember the good memories we had with that person. Share memories with people that are close to us that knew that person, and make space for those around us who also need to talk about what they're going through and what they're feeling because that person's no longer in their lives. It's a hard topic because it doesn't just involve the person who passed away. It involves everyone, that was in their lives or their life touched throughout the years of them being there. So it's difficult, but never forget that there's always a person you can reach out to. There's always a person you can talk to. There's hotlines and things like that. There's friends, there's family. You can even text on your phone now instead of calling, so you don't even have to hear the person's voice. You can just text them when you're feeling this way. There are other options to help get through those moments where things feel hopeless. With that said, I cannot place blame or shame on people who have unalived themselves because that was their choice, that was their decision, and they made that decision for a reason. Okay, I'm not saying it was the correct decision in my eyesight, but I also understand that feeling a person has because I've been there in a similar situation that would cause someone to act that way. And I get it. Sometimes you just cannot handle it anymore and you lose all hope and all faith. And it feels dark and alone. Sometimes you feel angry, sometimes you feel sad. It's a lot of deep, intense emotions that haven't gone away for a long time that get built up and built up and built up. And it's very pressurized. So I get it. Anyways, on to the next part of this story, which gets even more detailed. Just a heads up for everybody who's following along. There has been one suicide in my life that I was there when it happened, okay? And I had just gotten off of my night shift from work at the time, so it was like 3:45ish in the morning when it happened. Okay, guys, it wasn't like it was daytime. It was the middle of the night, and it was difficult, and I have gone through intense therapy for this. And right after it happened, I started EMDR therapy, um, which tends to help with extreme trauma. Sometimes, not all the times. It works for some people, not for others. At this point in my life, I can see that it definitely helped me at that moment because I'm able to talk more openly about this without having really intense emotions anymore about it. So that's why I can share this with the the way I'm sharing it. Okay, it's not that I don't feel the emotions. It's just the therapy helped calm the intensity down on them. So, anyways, it's in the middle of the night. Going on in the morning, and this person happened to be the the brother of the person I was dating at the time. Okay, um, and they had guns in their house. So if you need to leave now, go ahead. So we hear a noise from the apartment, and we're not quite sure what it is, but we're getting worried. So we go outside to investigate, and we realize that he's gone, and one of the guns is gone, along with the ammunition for that gun. And we're all just trying to find this person outside because he's not inside the apartment. So we're trying to find him outside, and people are screaming his name. We're trying to find him, and then as we get closer to the area where he passed away, we hear what we presume to be one final gunshot go off, and we continue looking, and we find him not far away from where we were when we heard that last shot go off. And his brother tried to resuscitate him. It was clear that this was not going to work. There was a lot of blood everywhere, and there was, sorry for the details, but there was brain matter on the wall from where the bullet had gone through and out. And it all seemed like a really bad dream at the time. He's like, what is going on, right? And you kind of get like almost like fogged or frozen. Some people have different reactions. This was just my reaction because I'm seeing the person I'm dating covered in his brother's blood, trying to resuscitate him, knowing very well that with that amount of blood loss and what was on the wall, that this person was not going to be coming back. And I hear, their fiancés, they're crying, and here comes this person's mother. And I think that's the hardest part about the whole experience for me is I can still hear her screams when I retell this and go through it. I hear her screams in my head, and that is the saddest sound I think I've ever heard in my entire life. And I don't think there will be another sound that was more heartbreaking, and it hurts me to my core to this day, because no mother should have to go through that experience of losing their child early on or later on before they go. No mom or dad or older siblings should have to watch someone they love go before their due time. And so that was the hardest part about the whole experience. That's what broke the fog and made it extremely real. It was real then, and it's real now because it happened. But when I first experienced it, it was like it wasn't. And then her scream instantly brought me back to that reality, to our reality. And so that's what I have experienced. That person was someone that was dear to my heart and close by, and I mean no ill will by sharing this story. I don't use names, um, to, respect the family and the deceased, okay? Because they are allowed to have their peace and move forward with their grief in a way that suits them. And um, I'm telling just my side of it, okay? This is my experience. Their experience, it could be different because they are different people, okay? So we must remember this is just what I lived through, not what they lived through or how they saw it or their perspective. This is only my perspective on this. So these are some of the things that I have gone through when it comes to the topic of suicide. Okay, guys. Um, please, 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 always remember that when you're feeling your lowest of low, there is still someone you can talk to, and there is always some form of hope if you're willing to let that in, okay? And I understand sometimes it feels hopeless and you don't want to open any more doors or windows, but even if you just crack the window and text the hotline or call that friend that can make you laugh or that can come see you in like 5 minutes, do that, because you will be missed. Even if you feel like you're not going to be missed, you will be missed. Okay? I've watched a lot of my friends lose their friends as well to similar circumstances, and there's a lot of pain that gets left behind when people choose that option of life. And there are a lot of programs out there, guys, that are available. They just sometimes take a little digging to find, which can be difficult when you're already in that mindset that things are too hard. So please always remember to reach out, and be honest, because people aren't mind readers. You have to be honest. That way you can move forward step by step to a healthier, happier you. Um, anyways, guys, thank you for listening. I appreciate you. I'm sorry this topic is so difficult. Just remember, you aren't alone. Even if you feel alone, there's going to be someone you can talk to. There's going to be a program that can help you. There's always hope, even in the hopeless moments. Okay? So, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for sticking with me through the end of this video. I know it's not easy. I really do. I've been through a lot with this, and other people have been through more. But let us be there for each other. Let us lift each other up. Let us hold a safe space for those people in our lives that need it. And yeah, let's move forward with love and positivity, even if that means creating a safe space to share our shadows and darkness every once in a while. All right, guys, thank you for joining me. Please take care of yourselves, and I look forward to next time. Bye.